Hi everyone, I hope you're all staying safe right now and having a good day. And I want to give a quick thank you to RIT Engineers for a Sustainable World for having me on right now. So today I'm just going to be going over a little bit about something called community solar. And to give you a little bit of background about myself, my name is Will Shepard, and I'm a solar ambassador for a company called Astral Power. And Astral Power predominantly specializes in community solar, so that's why I'm talking about that today. And additionally, I am a mechanical engineering major at RIT. And I just figured a lot of you are probably pretty into sustainability, so I'd toss a book recommendation up there, and my recommendation would be Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things. And so that basically is a book that goes very deep into kind of rethinking the way you design things and how to make it a sustainable product. And so for what to expect today, we're just going to go through a quick intro, talk about what community solar is and how it works, the benefits, and then I'll give you my contact information if you guys have any questions on the subject. So to give you some background about the company I work for, it's a company called Asheville Power, like I said, and we are a community solar company. And so we operate predominantly in New York State, but we are looking to expand those horizons in a little bit. But basically, our main goal is to do a few things. We want to really spread solar and sustainability through communities. And so with that, we do a lot of grassroots marketing and things along those lines. We really like to embed ourselves in the community and help out, do lots of education, things along those lines. And then additionally, our other main mission is to provide everyone access to locally produced clean energy at a lower cost than utility. And there's a big emphasis on lower cost because when you get to the point where renewables are cheaper than fossil fuels, there's obviously an inflection, and renewables are then going to expand rapidly when prices are cheaper than fossil fuels, because that's just how it's going to work. Supply and demand, right? And so just to give you a little bit of background on what community solar actually is, so community solar is what you would think of as solar fields. Right, so you may be driving along the countryside or something like that, and you'll see a farm with a whole bunch of solar fields installed. And so that's kind of where we operate. And so just a little fact around this is 75 to 80% of the people who actually want solar on their homes aren't able to get it. And so, that could be for a variety of different reasons, ranging from they don't have a good south-facing ceiling or roof, or they don't have the finances to get the solar panels installed right now, or they could just be a renter, and so that puts them in a position where they don't have access to solar power because of that. And so we really want to be able to bring it to everyone, and so that's how this is developed. And so what community solar is instead of having panels actually installed in your home, you subscribe to a certain portion of a solar field, and then that is then given to you. So say you use 9,000 kilowatt hours a year, you might be given 20 panels in order to produce that amount of electricity. And so on a certain solar field, you have a certain set of solar panels right next to maybe a local business or your neighbor that also is allocated a certain portion. And these are in prime locations that allow for the most solar to come in. And so to give you some just quick facts about community solar, so these are mostly from an organization called Solar Energy Industries Association, which is kind of the benchmark for a lot of things going on in solar right now. But these are some projections they put out, and just some information on where it's at now. Community solar currently had about 2 gigawatts of solar panels installed in the U.S. Through 2019. So that's quite a bit. But at the same time, it is looking to expand very quickly. And so as you can see, in the next 5 years, there's expected to be another 3.4 gigawatts added to community solar in the United States. And what that means is basically a megawatt of solar power is equal to about 190 homes. And so as you can imagine, that is a massive amount of energy going into the system itself. And so what that means is that's about enough power to power about 650,000 homes, which is pretty incredible when you really think about it. And then just additionally, where states are at, there's about 19 states who now currently have policy to promote solar, community solar, and about 40 states that have existing community solar programs. And here's just a quick video that really does a great job of showing how community solar works.
The future of clean energy in New York State is brighter than ever before. Communities across New York are now getting access to solar energy through community solar. They're saving on electricity bills, reducing their carbon footprints, and stimulating their local economy. How does community solar work? The process is actually quite simple. Solar panels are installed at a site in your community. Depending on the community solar project size, dozens or even hundreds of community members can subscribe to a single project. Clean energy generated from the site is then fed into the local power grid. You continue to get electricity from your utility without having to install solar panels on your roof or property. You receive your share of solar credits through your utility, which will lower your monthly electricity bill. What about billing? Will anything change? You'll continue to receive your monthly electricity bill from your utility. As a subscriber to a community solar project, the solar energy that your share produces will appear as credits, lowering your monthly electricity bill. In most cases, you'll receive a separate bill from the solar developer. The credits on your electricity bill will cover the cost of the developer's bill, meaning you'll be paying less than you normally would for electricity. In summer months, the panels generate more electricity, so you will earn more credits. Any unused credits you have at the end of the month will roll over into the following month. When an entire community stands behind clean energy, some pretty amazing power can get generated. Find a community solar project near you by visiting nycerta.ny.gov/findcommunitysolar.
And like I said, I just like to include that video because I think it does a really, really good job of explaining exactly how community solar works. And so now that you know like what community solar is and how it works, I think I should just now go into some of the benefits that it actually provides. And so one of the first and foremost that our company likes to focus on and is just very important in general for the expansion of renewable resources would be helping customers save, right? Because so at Astral Power, basically what we do is we take the current rate of the energy supplier and we charge 90% of that. So right off the bat, a customer saving 10%. And so kind of the assumptions, if we look at a little problem here, if we make the assumption that an average household is going to use about 9,000 kilowatts of energy a year, and the national average rate is about 11.88 cents, that gives you kind of the cost savings that you could potentially get from subscribing to a community solar program in your area, which would be about $100 a year, which hey isn't an incredible amount of money, but it can move some things along. And then additionally, we're seeking to help the environment with community solar, right? So if you look at an average house, again, this is going to be an assumption that we're making is about 9,000 kilowatt hours a year. If it's being run off a coal plant, every kilowatt hour of energy produced by coal puts about 2.21 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions into the air. And even if it's natural gas, it's still close to 1 pound. And so an entire year, that adds up quite a lot, right? So if you're looking at coal, that's about 20,000 pounds of carbon dioxide that's being put in the air. And to give you some perspective, an average sedan is about 3,300 pounds, right? So that's basically, 6 cars you're putting into the air, that's an insane thing to think about. And even natural gas, you're looking at about 2.5 cars of carbon dioxide that you're putting into the air. And then just another bullet point there, about 95% of the part of our solar panels that we're using is recyclable, and we work with like I said, the Solar Energy Industries Association to recycle these properly. And another benefit is just kind of support for local communities, right? So we're helping all sorts of different types of people here. By installing the solar fields and land lease agreements with local farmers who might be just staying afloat, they're able to not worry about finances as much to keep their head above water in terms of producing. And then additionally, with local municipalities, they benefit as well. There's pilot agreements in place that allow for payment in lieu of property taxes for the municipalities, so they're saving by bringing solar energy into their communities. And then additionally, small businesses I will touch on a little bit more in the next slide, but at Astral Power, we also specialize in sustainability education. Right now, we're hosting a bunch of different seminars on a bunch of different ways to be sustainable, and bringing community solar into communities is really a great way to build the sustainability education in that area. And then additionally, when municipalities put in community solar, there seems to be a degree of mobilization that occurs in these communities that it's going in. People start to think a little bit more about where their power is coming from, where their food is coming from, and all those things. And so this is kind of specific to the Rochester, New York area, but and Astral Power itself, but we form community partnerships, which is another great way to help out communities. And so we go to local businesses and we say, hey, we want to work with you guys. If you can help us enroll people in community solar, we'll help your organization. We'll give you guys additional funds to expand your organization. So we work with, Lori's Natural Foods, and they have all farm fresh to store food, and that's good for the local communities. It bolsters the farmers. We work with the Rochester Museum and Science Center. That's education. And so what we really want to do is support these organizations that are also doing good and helping in their communities. And so we really want to look for a domino effect that community solar can bring. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what it's about, is really, really an emphasis on that community part, as well as the solar part, because we do want to be producing and getting people off fossil fuels and reducing their carbon footprint. I mean, that is really all I had for you, just a quick presentation so you could learn a little bit more about community solar and how it works and some of the benefits that come along with it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. My contact information is up there, and I'd love to hear from you.